I want to share 5 universal teamwork values with you that you can use to discuss with your team so that you can better function and pull together as a team. A great analogy that I heard years ago is about these Belgian workhorses, the big Clydesdale-looking horses, that one of those on its own can pull about a 3-ton weight and just drag it across the ground. But if you take 2 of those Belgian workhorses and you put them together, they can pull 10 tons of a big stone across the ground. But then the next phenomenal piece of this that I heard in this analogy was that if you put those 2 horses with a trainer for as little as 30 days and train those 2 horses to pull together, they can pull as much as 15 tons across the ground. See, too often with our teams, we are functioning and we're functioning in our skill sets, but we're maybe not functioning in the most healthy way. We're not pulling together as a team. It feels like a 3-legged race. Have you ever been there? Everybody's trying to run and do their best, and everybody's got great intentions, but somehow we're not moving in the same direction. So here are the 5 universal values of teamwork. The first one that I think is so essential for you as a leader is clarity. You have to be clear about what you're trying to accomplish. You have to be clear about where the team is going. You have to be clear about how you're going to get there. You have to be clear about how people give their input, and you have to be clear about how you gain buy-in from those team members. The second one is the principle of cohesiveness. Do your team members, and this is a great question, do your team members really, honestly, truly, and fully believe that they are better together? Do they believe that? Because what happens on a team, and again, one of the great lessons I believe I've learned as a leader is this concept of the fact that I'm incomplete as a leader, that I cannot do everything well. There are certain things that I do well, and there's other things that I need other people around me to complete me in those tasks or those skill sets. And as a leader, if I don't get those other people around me, I'll never be complete. And if we can get our team to understand that some of those folks that are on the team that may even frustrate them at times because they look at things differently or they have a different skill set or they go about doing their job in a different way, that those people actually bring strength to the team, that they help complete this team. They make it more fully rounded with skill sets and abilities and perspective and knowledge. Does your team believe that they are better together? This is the principle of cohesiveness, and you need to have that as a value and promote it as a leader on your team. The next one is the principle of character. Character is this promise of each person to not only do their best, but do it in a way that brings trust and respect to other people on the team. Does your team have character? Do people do what they say they're going to do? Do people treat others with trust and respect on your team? Do they respect the intent of others, not just the outcome of their performance, but actually see them as good people and people that they can work with? As a leader, you have to bring this value of character to your team. Are they going to be honest? And are they going to do what they say they're going to do? And are they going to treat each other well? Then the fourth value of teamwork is competence. Does each person on your team have the skill set to do what they need to do? Jim Collins years ago uses the analogy of the bus. And he asked the question, do you have the right people on the bus? And then are people in the right seats on that bus? And this can be a competence issue. Do you have people doing what they're good at? Or has your company or your organization evolved and grown over time to where people are actually in jobs that either have outgrown their skill set, or you've moved them to an area to where they're just not good at doing what you're asking them to do? If someone doesn't have the competence, you haven't set them up for success. You haven't set the team up for success. So as a leader, you have to value competence. People on your team have to value competence. In fact, I would say that people on your team of character would come to you and say, you know what, I'm not very good at this that you've asked me to do. Could you get me some help, or can we maybe see if someone else can help me with this? That's character and competence working together. The final value is capacity. We all want to get the most out of our team. In fact, you as a leader are probably dealing with budgets to where you're constantly asked to do more with less. You're asked to stretch people. But here's the problem that we have when we try to get 100% of our people working 100% of the time, is that we wear people out. And the only way for you as a leader to get the most out of your folks, the most out of your team members, is for your team members to be at their best. You have to lead in this area of the value of capacity by asking yourself, are my team members, are they at their best? Because the only way you're going to get the most out of them is if they are at their best. And I would say that physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. So the 5 universal values of teamwork. I would ask yourself, do you have clarity? Does your team have cohesiveness? Do they believe they're better together? Does your team have character? Do they say what they're going to do and then do it? And do they treat each other with trust and respect? And do you have competence? Do team members have the right training, the right equipment, the right tools to do what they're asked to do? Do they have the gift set to be world class in what you've asked them to accomplish? But most of all, is your team at capacity? Are they at their best? You as a leader must lead in these 5 universal values of teamwork.